Welcome to Kaplan Professional Education Australia's 5 Minutes with the Industry program. My name is Vishal Teckchandani, and today I'm here with Michael Perkins of Michael J. Perkins and Business Estate Lawyers, who'll be discussing the steps advisors need to take in order to provide effective family succession planning advice. Michael, what is family succession planning advice, and how important is this type of advice becoming to families?
Succession planning, I think, needs to be understood in three key dimensions. Succession of ownership, succession of control, and succession of the values that the family has.
What are the questions and issues advisors need to consider when providing succession planning advice?
Probably three key questions. One, who's in the family? So who do we have to take care of? The second is what risks are those beneficiaries under? And third, how should we respond to those risks? I think we have to take the responsibility to challenge whether a direct gift to the client is appropriate. It's easy to think about this if a client is under some kind of bankruptcy, credit attack, family law or relationship breakdown. But also it may simply be that the beneficiary is in a profession or a business. It's not currently under attack, but has the potential to be attacked. We need to be able to respond to both. So as an estate planner, we need to think of two key things. What are the wealth preservation priorities of the client? What are the wealth transfer objectives of the client? And our job is really to navigate those two areas of concern and for the client, and then come up with a plan, come up with a method that's going to meet the client's objectives.
What additional information should an advisor seek from a client?
If we take the case of a financial planner, the financial planner is generally concerned with the financial life of the client, the assets, the liabilities, what's available for investment in a particular investment program or under a particular investment mandate. With this broader area of wealth planning, we're looking at both investment and non-investment assets. It may be that we also need to understand the property of the client as it's owned directly, as it may be owned jointly, or in external trusts and structures like family trusts, super funds, companies. As a result of that, we need to glue together a picture of the overall client's wealth position, and then look at the broader issues of how it's going to be transferred. So what we have to pick up is a broader understanding of who's in the family, a broader understanding of the property of the client, and an understanding of how property is owned, because that'll affect how we approach setting rules for the transfer of wealth.
What are some of the practical strategies that advisors can recommend in order to help clients achieve their estate planning objectives?
I think we can break those up into two rather large areas. One is dealing with the representation of the client during their life and after their death. Who do they trust to carry on the management of their affairs? I had the both blessing and curse some days of acting for a while for the longest suffering Alzheimer's patient in New South Wales. She's dead now, but from diagnosis to death was 27 years. So the job of whom you might appoint as your attorney or guardian can last for a long, long time. So who is competent, who's going to be around long enough, and the chain of succession and representation is quite important. And for some families and clients that have a very small family group, they may need to look at organisations like the public trustee or a trust company in order to get a focus of service that's going to last them for their whole life. The next main area of concern, once we've dealt with representation, is to deal with the property dimension of the client. and where's that going to go? And then the third area in terms of estate planning is then how is the beneficiary going to take their benefit? Is it going to be by a direct gift? Is it going to be by a trust? If it's a trust, is it going to be a short or a long-term trust? And do we have to consider any particular vulnerability or risk around the beneficiary when we're crafting those terms? It's a journey.
Michael, thanks for your time.
No, my pleasure.